All right, let me see. I don't know who's going to be up. I know it's late and early. Let me see. Let's see who jumps on. If nobody jumps on, I'm just going to go back to bed. Is anybody there? Good morning. Good morning. Or good night. So you just clicked on my video. Okay. Are you new to the platform? How'd you find me? I'm waiting to see if anybody I know jumps in. I hadn't planned to be on here, but fireworks kind of jolted me out of my sleep, and then of course I grabbed my phone and saw somebody tag me in a video on TikTok where this girl from somewhere in the UK was responding to a podcast where they were talking about how she was the ugliest girl in the UK, I think. And it just got me to thinking about UGC girls. My fourth didn't go as planned. I had planned to go to the beach, and as I was pulling off, I couldn't find my phone. So I pulled back into the house, was looking all over for my phone, came back outside, and my phone, I had left it on the roof of my car, and I didn't even know. So that was one thing. And then something was going on with my tires. So I spent half the day at the mechanic getting my tire fixed, and that cost me $600. So the day was a bust. It was weird. It was weird. It was weird. But I'm here, so it is what it is. It is what it is. So I was tagged in this video. This sister May, a dark skinned girl, from the UK. She was responding to a podcast where they were talking about her. Well, one of the podcasters in particular said she was proper ugly. I think was the term that he said. Yeah, $600. I have a Range Rover, and those things, when something breaks on that, just understand you're going to pay. Anything breaks down on a Range Rover, you're going to pay like you weigh. So that's what happened there. $600 tire. So it touched me because I'm clearly the girl was visibly upset, and people were trying to encourage her not to be upset, and they were telling her, she's beautiful, don't listen to them, and stuff like that. And it just goes back to the things that I've said since starting this organization called the Ugly Girls Club, and for the reasons that I started it for, which is that we can't compete with what people think and feel about us. And if we try to fix that, we're going to be miserable, forever. We're going to be miserable for the rest of our lives because people are disingenuous, people lie. And on top of that, I believe that people enjoy seeing unattractive people suffer. And I've said this a million times before. I do believe that there's sort of a fetish, or like a sick relief that people have in seeing unattractive people, in particular unattractive women, suffer. Sort of like you know how you get this weird satisfaction from picking a scab. I think excuse me, I think people have a weird satisfaction with seeing us hurt. And if there's a satisfaction with seeing us hurt, you really can't compete with that. It is what it is. And no amount of crying, no amount of protesting, no amount of roundtable discussions, no amount of, heartfelt dissertations are going to change that. I've been a content creator for a while, for many years now. Before a lot of these people became popular, I was here doing my thing. And I noticed that there are expectations from certain type of people. There's an expectations of what you're going to get from people who look a certain way. And from women who are mildly attractive or average or awkward or ugly, however you want to call it. And also, black women, dark skinned women, the assumption is I'm going to get an ego boost by listening to you recount your pain. I'm going to get a sense of relevance from watching you tearfully discuss, what has happened in your life and how you've been marginalized and unfairly treated. I come for the sob story. I don't come to you. I don't come to a person like you for inspiration. You can't inspire me. The way you make me feel good about myself is reminding me why I'm lucky to not be you. And that is what we experience, as black women as a whole. And it's unfortunate that there's no reprieve amongst your own. You figure there's like a little fly here that's bothering me. You figure, okay, um, other types, other categories, whatever, have their opinion, and we fit a certain narrative, a certain stereotype, and that's in their eyes, and that's what it is. We kind of know where the line is drawn, and we're very clear about it. So we kind of know, okay, stay away from those particular spaces. But when it's in your own backyard, when it's amongst your own people, avoiding those kind of people become impossible because, as I've always said, they're your pastors, they're your mothers, they're your boyfriends, sometimes your husbands, sometimes your children, all the time your friends. It's everywhere. The assumption that you shouldn't really be expecting to be happy. You just got to make do with what you can get. You shouldn't be so ambitious. Leave that to the other girls who can really get what it is they want. Save your energy for just maintaining your mediocrity. People love to hear our sob stories. There's certain women in these spaces, who have great lives and who are happy. And they all say that women interpret their expression of their happiness as bragging. Women don't think that they are genuinely happy. They question the validity of their happiness. It's like No, you can't. It couldn't be you. It couldn't be you. You can't be happy. Maybe the exotic girl, the light skinned girl, the half white girl, the whoever, the white woman, Asian woman, whatever, they can be happy. But no, you're pretending. You're putting on a show for us and we don't believe you. So when we try to be encouraging and a beacon of light in these spaces, black women, other black women shoot it down. They shoot it down. What? Having margaritas? I like your vibe when you're doing Sunday. Appreciate the margarita invitation. I don't drink though. Sorry. So that's what it is. So and it's I guess the next question is okay, if they prefer to hear our sob story, is there anything that we can do about it? Nope. Mm-mm. It is what it is. And it'll just take a little longer for us to build our tribe, to build our network. We have to be more intentional and we have to really, really be cognizant of not wasting our time with certain people. I am a spiritual life coach. This is what I do for a living. And I have coached women from all facets of life, from, housewives, welfare moms, economists, lawyers, doctors, and everything in between. And I find a reoccurring theme for me is that I always have to hurdle over. Mm, I don't know if I trust your advice because of how you look. I don't know if your counsel is sound because of how you look. And this is women. And women will talk all day long about how men are superficial. Men are materialistic, men are superficial, and men are just focused on what they can see. When women decide whether they want to be friends with you based on how you look, whether they can trust you based on how you look, whether they should care about you based on how you look, and I'm even talking about their own children. I'm even talking about their own children. I have coached women who can recount growing up how they were treated as opposed to other siblings. And they knew from very early on it was because they look a little bit too much like their father, let's say, for example. Or they were the dark skinned one in the bunch. So, as the dark skinned girl who looked a little bit too much like dad, she had to work and put herself through school while her siblings got the trust fund money put aside for them, and things like that. When I was a hairstylist, I had my salon for years, and I saw the distinction between treatment in siblings in my clients. When women would come in with their children, it would always be one girl who you need some lunch, you need this. I want her to have this hairstyle. The one girl would always get the more expensive style than the other girl. I'm like, well, they're similar in age. The hairstyle that you want on this one, the other one can do. Why would this one you put more money into her than her? I saw the distinction over and over and over again with mothers. They had their favorites. Mothers have their favorites. And as grown women, the grown women who I coach have experienced that favoritism. And that marks you for life. You never forget it. You walk through life quietly thinking, man, there must have been something wrong with me for my own mother to treat me this way. And you figure, well, as an adult, you just get over these things. You don't. You don't get over these things. You manage, and a lot of women distract themselves, by becoming successful, right? And, they get a lot of money, they get the degrees. The women that I coach are very educated. For the most part, the majority of them, have double degrees, double majors, double degrees, Ivy League schools. I don't really, nobody broke can afford my services. I'm just put it like that. Um, so they're very successful in one sense, but then you have this other sense with family where they just um, they feel insignificant, they feel insecure, they feel unworthy, and no amount of success can make up for that hole that's there from feeling alone, from feeling unloved, especially by someone who's supposed to really have unconditional love for you, which is your own mother. You said your father did this. I didn't get school clothes or my hair done. He hates how I look. I'm ugly because his genes. Well, Rachel, that's an example of what I see in my coaching practice. A lot of women experience that neglect. They can recount the neglect of parents. So if you're a parent, um, just understand that whatever you're doing to your child or not doing to or for your child, they're not dumb. They they're recording everything, and they'll become adults and go, "Yep, you didn't do this for me. Yep, this is how you made me feel." And you think you're being clever. You think you're being clever, and you think you're being sophisticated, and you think a child is not being aware that you hate them, and it's not true. And the evidence is in the amount of grown women that still have mother wounds right now. Still have mother wounds. But the irony with all of that is there's women walking around here with mother wounds, and they understand and have experienced rejection, and yet they like to see other women suffer anyway. That's the weird thing about us. Most women that you talk to, we have a horror story that we can recount, but it doesn't make you kind to other people. Unfortunately, it makes you. There's a propensity there for you to victimize other people too when you've been a victim, and that's what I see in my practice too. It's like, okay, you've been beat down and marginalized in our society, but now you're a mean girl. Now you're a mean girl. Now you're overly critical of other people. Now you think everybody's stupid, and you don't want to mingle, you don't want to make friends because you just can't be bothered, and everybody's negative and everybody's corrupt and everybody's perverse but you. So you become a recluse and an elitist. And then you wonder why you're not liked, and wonder why people think you're a weirdo, and wonder why you don't have, a network of some sort of associations, call it friends or whatever it is. You wonder why you feel alone and you feel invisible. You're walking around with a lot of hate and a lot of animosity. Justified or not, is what it is. A lot of us turn into mean girls. And I understand it. Because it's frustrating to have people who don't even know you assume that you don't deserve anything. That's frustrating. Anybody would be mad at that. Like, how dare you say that, I'm not deserving of love, and you don't even know me. And this is what, as a dark-skinned girl, dark-skinned woman, black woman, I've heard my entire life. Entire life. And not just by people who are obvious adversaries. You hear this from other women who've been marginalized too. That's the weird part about it. It's other women who have been abused who will also say, "You're nothing." And they hate you even more because you remind them of themselves. You remind them of the things they hate about themselves, so they hate you even more. They hate you even more. And that's the weird part about it, because you're looking at the other girls like, I thought we had an understanding here. I thought we actually had an understanding and a commonality here, but you hate me just as much as these other people who criticize me. You're embarrassed to be around me more than they are. You're embarrassed to need me. You're embarrassed about the commonalities that we share. So then your embarrassment leads to shame, frustration, and then you lash out at me. Listen, I am a coach. I'm a life coach. And there are women who come to me to vent. They don't come to me because they respect my counsel. They come to me because I symbolize a mammy. One of them house niggas that, with the apron on, the dirty apron on, that, can make a meal and whatever else, and they can vent to, because they're not risking their reputation by venting to someone who has no reputation, who has no status, like me. So they can lay it all out for me because they don't lose anything. Whereas if someone else hears it, they might lose their footing. They may lose a little bit of their status if they unload on other types of women. But there's no problem unloading on me, because who am I? Who am I? You know? So I've experienced this in my practice too. And I gotta, politically pull coattails and stuff, all that, all the time too. I'm like, listen, I'm not chasing you. You've come to me for help. How you don't respect the help? You're mad that you have to come to me for help because you're embarrassed to talk about these things to anybody else for fear that they will judge you. So if I'm a safe haven and a safe space for you to unleash and pull everything out your bag and purge and cleanse, why not respect the fact that you can do that with me? A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. So you got to persevere, y'all, because there's a reason for you to be mad. I understand it. I don't miss anything. I pick up on everything, but you got to learn, what your fight is going to be. I used to think it was a flex being the person people unloaded on. No, it's not. Was that chicken dumplings? No, it's not. I used to think there was some sort of specialness. Some of us really think, oh, this has some sort of magic power because everybody wants to unleash. No, it's that they're not intimidated by you. They don't have a fear that their reputation will be tarnished by giving you sensitive information. Because all women worry about their reputation being tarnished. All women. That's one of the, I don't know, one of the top maybe 5 things that we fear. And, because gossip can destroy you. Gossip can literally destroy you. So if in the wrong hands and in the wrong ears, you could lose your relationship, you lose your job, you can lose respect of your community. So you kind of guard that, and you're selective in who you open up to. And a lot of times a woman will open up to you if she's not intimidated or feels like you have the power to destroy her reputation. It's not a flex. It really isn't. Women have come to me because I look like a bottom feeder. I have no issue saying this. It is what it is. But the difference now is, I'm going to charge you for the assumption. I'm going to charge my fees. So you can You can call me 12 years a slave all you want to, but it's going to cost you now to have that assumption. It's going to cost your curiosity is going to kill the cat. That's what it's going to be. And I'm charging because I'm good at what I do. If you are open and honest, there'll be a breakthrough because I'm very good at what I do. So I guess the point is you're gonna have to decide what you're gonna be mad at. What's worth being mad at the end of the day. And if you're not careful, you'll fall into that angry black woman trope if you're not careful, and then it's the resentment and the fear and the brokenness and the brokenness. That's what happens. You can always tell because they go to people outside of their main circle to vent. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, chicken. And that's what's been done to me, personally and professionally. So I had to, rewire things, rebrand things, for myself to avoid me wasting my time with women who don't respect what it is I do, but are still looking for some place to vent. Y'all have to stand up for yourselves, but not in a. You don't have to be aggressive about it. You don't have to be argumentative about it. Just be matter of fact about it. Decide what hill you're gonna die on. You can't die on every hill. You can't put out every fire, and you really can't change anybody's mind. There are people who hate what you look like. There are people who hate me because of how I look. They don't know me. But whatever ideas they have associated with my phenotype, my biology, is what they are, and it's entrenched in them, and there's really nothing I can do. Nothing I need to do really to change that. And I said in a post, what was it, 2 days ago or something like that, where beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And we all know the phrase. I think everyone has heard the phrase. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That means that everybody's deciding if you're attractive or not. Everyone's deciding if you're attractive or not. So you making this big to do about trying to convince somebody that you're gorgeous really for us is a waste of time. It's semantics. It's pomp and circumstance. It's really ceremony in your own head, because at the end of the day, no matter what it is you do, the person in front of you is going to decide whether they feel you're attractive or not. And this means that it's not your responsibility to say that you are. You don't have the responsibility of promoting that I'm attractive, because other people are going to decide that for you. They're going to decide that for you. This does not mean that because they're deciding it for you, you're supposed to now take whatever they give you, because you still autonomous, and you can still say, okay, you've decided that I'm attractive or not, but here's what you got to do anyway. Here's how you got to treat me anyway. Here are my boundaries anyway. Anyway, here are my deal breakers anyway. So when they come to their conclusion, you still can assert yourself. You can still walk away or go, okay, just know and understand that this is not going to be easy for you just because you feel that I'm average looking or below average, or average at best, or whatever it is. It's not just going to be a cakewalk. So if you are okay with the conflict that even comes up with that, then we can rock and roll. But if you're not, bye. You only have 2 tiers with Patreon forever. Will there be other tiers? Right now it's 2, and for the foreseeable futures, it's just gonna be 2. I do a lot of work on Patreon. There's a lot of content that I've funneled there, and actually, I'm getting ready to do a live podcast this Saturday with a UGC who's a doctor, and she's that one is I had to put a disclaimer on that because there's going to be a lot of controversial information that she's going to share about uh, DL community, um, download men, things that she has discovered on the medical side that happens, that stuff that we don't hear about. And that's going to be a three-part series because there's so much information. She's going to talk about birth control, natural contraceptives, natural abortion methods. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So there's a whole disclaimer on that because it's really a enter at your own risk for that. And I'm apologizing in advance because I just feel like maybe some women may not want men after they hear what she has to say. You know, it's a lot of stuff. It's an underworld kind of stuff. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not my reality. I'm not curious about any of this stuff, but it's information. Y'all are out here dating. Y'all are out here giving it up, and you're really gonna have to be. The point is being purposeful about your body and who you're giving it to. So that would be the goal for that. So hopefully you join. Hopefully you join. You find the coins, get your ones and twos together, and join because information is power, and it's an investment, not an expense. You really got to see it as an investment because I do believe what's going to be shared will save a life. It will save a life. So it's up to you how you see it. As a businesswoman, I know that people generally, if they find value in it, they'll find the money. They'll find the money. And like I said, I don't deal with people who don't find value here. You either have it or you just do what you need to do. But I'm not here to save the world. I'm not here for women who are not experiencing some level of success in their lives. You have to be successful in some area of your life. And like I said, most of the women that I coach are business women themselves. They have practices, PhDs, whatever. They're very well off financially, but it's the emotional part that needs work. So those are the ones I find who are okay with investing. They listen. They're better students than the ones who feel that this is not valuable. Before I used to entertain people who just curious and whatever. I wanted to be available to everybody, but I realized that the people who are curious don't listen. The people who are just interested but not focused will waste your time. And we're just on another page now. We're just on another page now. So hopefully you figure it out and come over. Hopefully you do. All right, y'all. Let me see here. There's a new slot machine. What? Oh, y'all be up at night. Y'all be up at night. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and express a few things to you all. That was on my mind. And to say, if you're a dark skinned woman, in particular black woman, we have to let go of the anger thing. And we have to promote joy, just like other women can get to display their joy and happiness in life, and they can display how they're loved. We need to do that too. We need to be able to be free to do that too. And we have to distance ourselves from the language of that struggle, the struggle love, the struggle whatever languaging, we have to distance ourselves from that and really adopt the language of success in all areas of our lives. Any woman watching this, you can be partnered, you can be married, you can be loved, you can be protected. The sob stories are what they are. Our past is what it is, but that doesn't define who you are. You are more than what happened to you 20 years ago. And we have to get beyond that. And you know what it's going to take to get beyond that? Curating your circle of women that you talk to. It's a weird thing, your friends kind of reinforce ideas of worth and value in your head, and it's subtle. It's really, really, really subtle. But your network of people, in particular the women, and it might be even your own mother who you gotta let go, is gonna have to be carefully curated, because there's so many people that look at us and just see downtrodden, masculine, insecure, mean, unloved, and unfortunately a lot of us have adopted and actually live out those stereotypes. We live out those stereotypes. At one time on this platform, not too long ago, it was a cuss fest going on, and I enjoyed it. And I still, I'm a potty mouth. When I get heated and in the moment, it comes out. But at one time, I was so conscious of the fact that I couldn't get people to respond or react without showing aggression, that it was almost like I got into this trap of, well, if I don't say it loud, they won't hear me. I got into that trap too. And it's like, and even now when people say, Salkis, I like your old stuff. Why? Because you was cussing us out. So they come to women like me for aggression. They come to women like me to get off, let off steam, get their anger out. They don't come to women like me to be encouraged. They don't. They don't. But, things have got to change. Things have got to change. Things have got to evolve. I'm evolving, and I hope y'all are evolving too, because that's really what it is. Meanwhile, white women are listened to, and they are silent, frolicking through the woods. Yes, yes. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, and I see all kinds of planned out photo shoots, white women running on sand dunes and fans blowing their hair, and they're just giggling and laughing and, you know, riding on some dude's shoulders and whatever else. And they're celebrated. It's never seen as too much. It's not read as them bragging about anything. They are celebrated. Meanwhile, on our end, if we did something like that, oh, you're conceited, you're full of yourself, you're showing off, you're disingenuous, you're rubbing it in our faces, you ain't really happy. That's what they say if we try to do the equivalent. People look for aggression to heal, but look at the smile. That's aggressive. Um, I believe that people look to black women for aggression only. I think we are a space where being aggressive is tolerated, it's celebrated, it's normal. They don't look like they're unhinged or foolish or any kind of thing, because most black women are, according to the world, are depressed and insecure and angry and unloved and unhappy. So when they come to these spaces, they're looking to get off, you know, like hitting a punching bag or throwing knives or whatever. They come to us for that, not necessarily to heal, to let off steam. And there's a difference. There's a difference. But my platform is no, it's there's no space for that anymore. There really isn't. I only want quality women around me who are going to take this thing and what I do seriously, and who are willing to invest in the real healing, the true healing that is necessary for to turn things around in your life, you know? So many people build this social media off of black women's aggression. Yes, everybody does. Everybody does. But don't blame them, because who's looking at those social media platforms at the stereotypes that are spewed? Black women. Kevin Samuels' fan base was about 79% women. So the whole outrage over what he was saying wasn't real. It wasn't real, because in the back end, it was the women that were making the money. See, we can hate, we have to understand we can hate something and love it too. We can hate something, and we need to understand that hatred is passion also. Hatred is not necessarily outrage. Hatred, more times than not, is a curiosity that we find inappropriate. So we pretend like we hate something outwardly because we feel it's inappropriate, that we're curious about it, or that maybe we even like it. And this is why, a lot of times the biggest protesters, and you find this in other matters, the biggest protesters maybe like LGBT. Oh, that's wrong, that's wrong. And it's some pastor who gets caught in the back seat with some young boy. That's how it goes. So what we hate is a passion. That is a passion too. So just be mindful of that. Just be mindful of that. There's a duality going on there, and it's not always it's never really just black and white. It's never really just black and white, and that's what it is. That's what it is. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna let y'all go. Hopefully, those of you who've been a part of this platform for a while, you ladies who are UGC and who want support, can come on over to Patreon. I have a VIP tier that I'm focusing on now. I have a podcast interview coming up this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a doctor who's going to talk to us about natural remedies for certain things, natural birth control, and some other things to be wary about with you if you're going to be intimate, that you need to know to protect yourself. Because men are doing things out here. There are a lot of men. Not, I mean, I don't know how many. Put it like this, but there's an underworld, and you just need to know so you can avoid that energy, if you will. So hopefully y'all come on over, and I'd love to support you. I would love to be a counselor. I would love to be a coach. I would love to be your spiritual advisor. Um, and a mother, anything you need, a sister, anything you need, even a daughter to some of you. I want to be that for you. I want to be that support system for you. That's why I started this channel. That's why I started the Ugly Girls Club and doing all these services and stuff. So y'all go to the uglygirlsclub.com and subscribe to the website. I have a free ebook on there. For those of you who want to subscribe and just want to give your email up for nothing, there's a free ebook there if you do subscribe. And hopefully you go from YouTube to Patreon. That'd be the natural progression, and so that I can help you a little more. All right, I'm going back to bed. Peace and love.